Everyone loves their life. Everyone wants to live, to find happiness, to have the joy of connectedness, to feel the love of children, of young, to eat well, to find shelter. All beings love this. All beings search for happiness. In one's life, it is difficult to not do harm. To not interfere with the life of another in the process of living yours. It is difficult not to cause pain for any living being. One could say it is impossible. But in compassion and love for all living beings, setting the intention to do no harm and reminding yourself every day of this intention makes a difference. When you intend to live for the welfare of all living beings, when you intend that no one should suffer, that all living beings should have an opportunity to live their lives and find happiness, when that intention is the cornerstone of your life, when you remind yourself each and every day to live a life that does no harm to others, it changes your behavior. And though you may not be able to stop all harm, you can minimize the harm. There are choices to be made sometimes. If the rats come in your house, do you kill them? Do you try to... They love their families. They're only seeking a shelter for their family that's dry and comfortable and warm. What to do? If the ants come in your house seeking food and optimal life, what do you do? If the mosquitoes are in the room biting you, their life is to take the blood and eat it. What do you do? What do you do when you drive in your car and there are people on the street living in tents and in the corners begging, want food, want money? What do you do? What do you do in a conversation where you have to say something harsh to someone, or you accidentally say something harsh to someone? Harm cannot be avoided entirely, but it can be minimized. Sometimes it is a choice. What is the greater harm? Is the greater harm to let the ants live in your house, or and to find happiness in that way, or is the greater harm that you would not be able to live in your house in a comfortable way should they take over? So there are choices to be made, always. And choice involves often some type of harm. But if love and compassion for all beings is the intent that you make every day as your intent in the life you lead, your decisions will reflect that. Your decisions will reflect the kindness and compassion. Perhaps the spider can be taken outside rather than crushed, to give at least a chance to live in the outdoors. Perhaps the ants can be redirected, if possible. It may not be possible, and then you must choose. Perhaps the rodents can be carefully kept out of your house so that you need do no harm to them. These decisions between harm to living beings and your own comfort and survival go on day in and day out. They are a part and parcel of your life. Harm is also to yourself. There are many ways in which people harm themselves. By eating too much, drinking too much of the liquors, by avoiding the pain of life, by indulging in various addictions. There are many ways in which people attempt to avoid suffering that only bring more suffering. As long as there is identity with I and mine, with a human body, as long as you feel you are this body and this mind, there is bound to be suffering. And as long as you inhabit a human body, there is some degree of that identity with that form, with the senses, with your experience as an incarnate being. You search for happiness and you find it, but you also find sorrow, loss, and suffering. All of these are part of the human experience. They're part of the experience of living beings, not only human, but in the animal kingdom, as well as fear. Fear of death, fear of being harmed or hurt in some way. The deer in the field, when it hears a noise, it jumps, it listens carefully, it runs to protect itself, to save itself. Why? Because it's always alert, because there is a fear inside that something will harm it. It lives with that fear. So you live with fear on some level. Fear of death, fear of the loss of life, fear of loss, fear of pain. These are a natural part of human life, something people feel often ashamed of. They don't tell their relatives or their friends that they have these fears. They may even try to tell themselves they don't have these fears, but they do. It's a part of the survival mechanism like the deer in the field, always alert, always fearful to some extent, always ready to run. So it is that these fears help you to stay alive, and they are natural to human life. You may not always feel them or be aware of them. They are like a background that you're accustomed to, but they're a level of stress in your mind. And then when something happens, when someone you love is harmed, or there is some situation that you can't control that will cause great grief to you or a loved one, you want to be in action, and there's fear driving that action. Sometimes the fear will become anger. Fear and anger, they're very closely related, very close. So the fear makes you withdraw, makes you run like the deer. The anger makes you like the lion, like the bear. You want to attack. Either way, you are attempting to deal with pain, with a threat. So this is part of human life. Fear, anger, loss, grief, sorrow, and suffering. It's part and parcel of human life, as is joy, fulfillment, happiness. This is the vital experience that you have come here in this body. Your witnessing, aware consciousness has embodied to explore these experiences and to learn to know yourself through this exploration, to discover who you are, what you are. So you struggle in the physical world, or you struggle in the mental world with different emotions, different thoughts, different feelings. But beneath it all, there is a quietness, a calm, a peace, and there is love. Love in this world, where everything changes with time, comes, enchants you. But over time, as that love, you're separated from your loved one way or another, it causes pain. Because you identify as the body, as the mind. And so when another physical person or being is separated from you, you feel that pain of separation. So love and loss seem to go together in this world until your love deepens to a point where love is not necessarily dependent on a person or a given situation. Those natural rises and falls of human life, the highs and the lows, they're natural. Be the witness of the totality of your experience. Acknowledge the totality of your experience. The fear, the anger, the grief, the loss, the sorrow, the anxiety, the joy, the happiness, the excitement, the adventure, the feeling of accomplishment, the feeling of contributing something valuable, the feeling of purpose. All of this is the greatness of human life. All of it. Both the difficult and the joyous. But to appreciate that greatness, you must take a step back. See that you are not destroyed by the pain, by the fear, because you are not the body. You are not even the thoughts in your mind. You are the eternal essence of being, the witnessing, aware, intelligent consciousness, which is experiencing all of this, the delight of experience that the body-mind offers. And the delight comes in the contrast. If there were no pain, there could not be pleasure. It's in the contrast that the joy is found. So this is the experience that is had by you as an intelligent, aware, conscious being. You experience incarnation. And a time comes when that experience fades. The body gives way, and you, as an intelligent, aware consciousness, move out of the body and into other experiences. And as you are ready, if you still wish, you take another form. So it is with consciousness. So it is that consciousness lives in form and lives without form, lives with identity, with the soul, Atman, witnessing a set of experiences evolved through life upon life. This collective experience of many lives becomes an essence, a being that learns and grows in magnitude. Mind expands till awareness comes of the eternal nature of your own being. And the desire to experience the uniqueness of manifestation in all its shadows and light. When that desire fades completely, and the deep, deep love, the deep essence of being, the eternal nature of self, draws you home to your own essential being. Then the experience of embodiment and identity with any limitation fades as your intelligent, aware consciousness begins to understand its own nature, to discover itself. And in that discovery, finds the Sadguru, the eternal guide, the self of yourself. And your aware consciousness begins to realize you are not this limited self. When the love between you and the essential being, the Sadguru, the love of your life, becomes so strong, there is knowledge of the One, knowledge of the nature of the Guru. Then the separation of I and thou dissolves. The desire to experience the colors of different incarnate experiences fades, and the longing for the essential love, for the beloved of your heart, becomes so strong. Your awareness, your attention is turned from this world and its pleasures and pains, and your identity with individuality, to your beloved. And in that wholeness, there's a letting go of all smaller identities, letting go, surrender. Then your awareness, your consciousness ceases eventually, with more and more exposure, to lessen the identity with form, and to recognize the truth of your own nature, to recognize the love, to find your home in the arms of your eternal beloved, and melting there into oneness, losing, letting go of the false identity, the belief in your separateness. And when that is gone, so is the very seed of suffering. This is the great adventure of human life, the great secret of human existence. Life upon life goes on, exploring and exploring, until knowledge grows, wisdom grows, love grows, and the way home is found. This is the true nature of human life. All right.